Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome Greg Smith, and he is the author of The Church Without Walls. Greg, can you share with us a little bit about your book and talk a little bit about your inspiration for writing it?
I sure can, Heather. Thank you for asking.
Mhm.
Church Without Walls is really about reimagining what it means to be the church when it's no longer centered on a building, a
Mm,
program, or even a traditional structure.
mhm,
At its core, it's an invitation to see the church not as a place we go, but as a people who are sent into everyday spaces, into moments of need, into real lives.
mhm.
The book explores what happens when the walls fall away, sometimes literally, like in disaster contexts, and
Right.
sometimes figuratively through cultural change or institutional decline.
Mhm,
And what I argue is that when these walls fall away, the church doesn't disappear. In many ways, it becomes more visible, more human, more
mhm,
present, more faithful in its original calling.
mhm.
As for what inspired me, that really came from my work in disaster response and spiritual care. I kept encountering the church in places where there were no church buildings, shelters, parking lots, community centers, sometimes just two people sitting together in the aftermath of loss. And
Mm,
what struck me was that those moments didn't feel like a lesser version of the church. If anything, they felt more real, more immediate.
yeah.
So that led me to ask, if the church is fully present out there without the building, then what exactly are the walls doing?
Mhm,
At the same time, I've spent years in congregational ministry, and I've seen how much energy churches put into sustaining structures, programs, expectations, institutional rhythms. And while those can be meaningful, they can also become limiting.
mhm.
They can pull us inward when the call of the church is outward.
Yeah.
That tension became even clearer through my work around moral injury. I've walked with leaders and caregivers who feel caught between what compassion requires and what the system expects, and
Mhm.
that can be deeply wounding. So, part of this book is asking an honest question. What are some of the things we're trying to preserve or actually get in the way of being faithful?
Mhm.
But I want to be clear, the purpose of the book isn't to critique the church, it's to help us recover it. The
Mhm.
purpose is to help individuals and communities rediscover the essence of the church, what cannot be taken away, even when everything else familiar changes. It's about helping people move from a model of maintenance to a posture of presence. And
Mm.
the point of the book, if I had to say it as simply as possible, is this: the church is not a building we gather in, it's a people who carry presence into the world.
Wow.
What I hope readers will come away with is a sense of freedom and
Mhm,
also responsibility. Freedom from the idea that the church only happens in certain places or formats,
mhm.
and responsibility to recognize that wherever we are participants in that calling.
Wow.
Because what I've seen, especially in moments of disruption, is that when the structures fall away, something essential remains. And that something is the church itself.
Wow. Oh, I love this. Greg, you make some really great points. And, I just love the thought of the church not being a physical place, but it can be anywhere. And we are the church. People are the church, the things that we do for others. So I really like again the points that you're making in your book. I think this is great. So, is there anything else that you can share with us, Greg, about the book, messages within the book, or even anything else about yourself?
Well, uh, at first glance, it might appear that the book is about gay issues, LGBTQ issues, and it is to a certain extent because my son came out while I was a pastor,
Hmm.
and so this pastor in the book, his son comes out too, and it talks about the repercussions of that not only for the pastor and his family, but for the whole church and for the whole community,
Hmm.
and that is an important dynamic. But it's not the main dynamic. The
Hmm.
main dynamic is what I just explained. And I want people to understand that they can not necessarily be on board with LGBTQ issues, and I think they can still find great value in the book.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Greg, again, this sounds like an amazing book. It sounds very enlightening and like it has some great points again, like I said earlier, for us to think about and just how we can do church anywhere and it doesn't have to be in a building. So thank you for the interview, Greg. For anybody who's interested in picking up a copy of this book, again, it's Greg Smith, and the title is The Church Without Walls. You can get it on barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, also Apple Books, to name a few. And then also, Greg, you have some more books coming out as well, correct?
Correct.
Yes, very good. And in any way that we can find those, or when they will they be available?
They will be available through With and Stock. It's called the Moral Injury Project, and there will be 22 books eventually. They'll all be coming out at about the same time.
Okay.
But it has to do with the different aspects of how we get wounded on an everyday basis morally. And these days, that seems like a very important subject. And
Yes.
it seems like there's a lot of wounding going on.
Okay, well, this is great. Thank you so much for sharing, Greg, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate your time and your interest.